Welcome back to Race Control. It's day 10 of leg 6, and the fleet has been bombing along in the Northern Hemisphere trade winds. More than 20 knots of wind means Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing saw 30+ knots of boat speed last night. Today we have 2 live X's for you, but first, let's check in with the virtual eye. In the past 24 hours, the fleet went from being split into 2 groups to a bit more compressed. Team SCA switching from easternmost to westernmost, with Abu Dhabi Ocean Racing moving to windward to defend against the pack. The front 4 now almost perfectly restarting again, but separated by 40 miles. First up on the call list today was General Manager and youngest on board Team Alvimedica, Mark Towill. Mark, thanks for joining us. It looks like you're stuck inside because it's too wet outside, but basically you guys made it through the equator unscathed. What are the conditions like now?
Yeah, it's pretty nice out. We've got 22 to 23 knots. We're ripping along, doing about the same boat speed, maybe a little bit more. Nice to be through the equator and through the doldrums and into some nice trade wind sailing.
It's kind of been a tough leg for you guys on the leaderboard since you took that tack west earlier on. What can you do from here to get back into the group?
Yeah, you know, it hasn't been our best leg so far. You know, it's the tack is really what's kind of set up our positioning to this point. But there's still a few more opportunities down the road. Now that we've crossed the doldrums, we've got a couple days of just trade wind fast sailing ahead of us. So the focus is really going to be on boat speed and trying to just get everything we can out of the boat. And as we get further north towards Newport, there's going to be a couple of different transitions between a front and a high pressure system, and hopefully we can close up the gap to the leaders and make a game before we get there.
Talk to us a little bit about the trade wind sailing. I mean, we almost call this champagne sailing, but what's it like on board now?
It's pretty nice out. I mean, Amo has having to clean his camera down below, so it's I'd say that's you know, a representation of how wet it is. But it's really fast night sailing. We've got the you know, fastest combo up right now, and we're just ripping along. You know, walking over the deck the whole time. It's nice and warm. It's about as perfect as it gets.
I believe it. I'm super jealous from here. Well, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy the champagne sailing. We'll talk soon, I'm sure, on your way to Newport.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenny. Take care.
Good to see they're so loving the sailing. Next up, a little clip of Kevin Escoffier doing acrobatics, and then a live X with him on Dongfeng Race Team.
Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. Oh, easy, man. Go, 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 go. What's it like to go out there in the middle of the night?
I would never do it. I've never done it, so I would never do it. So you have to ask the guys to do it, especially Kevin. I was quite impressed by that.
Okay, Mr. Fix-It, thank you so much for joining us. The first question, of course, how is the water maker holding up?
Not too bad, not too bad. There is a few little leaks on the connections, but still doing water, so it's exactly what we want it to do. So perfect for us. And happy with that because it's quite hot, and we're drinking a lot of water. And if we had to pump all the time, it would have been not very pleasant.
Very difficult. So the second question there would be, how is the mast holding up? Hopefully it's fine. And how do you think it affected your team, the last minute getting the boat ready with a new mast going into this leg?
Well, we're quite lucky because regarding the sailors, we had a great we've got a great shore team. They've been working a lot, and we've been able to sleep. And I think we have started the last this leg. We've started this leg in the same condition as usual. After that, we try to sail exactly the same way, not to take more risk, not to push harder. And so far it worked, so we're very happy. But again, it's not finished, and we'll see in Newport if the result is good, and I hope so.
Well, and the result looks good right now, at least for you guys on the leaderboard. What's it like, though, close racing-wise? I mean, basically all the boats are almost lined up in a row, crushing it in the breeze.
Yes, yes. Since yesterday, it's much more wet than from the beginning. It has been since the beginning, except one tack that was maybe the more strategical choice we had to do on this leg. It's more a leg of speed, and we are all pushing hard and trimming all the time in order to get all the speed and all the knots we can have. So I agree with you. It's a race of speed. We are very close. We can see Brunel just behind us right now, and it's wet. It's wet. The night has been quite wet, and yesterday as well.
And strategically, it's an interesting path coming up, because there's a couple of different angles that you could sail based on what you want, whether you want to go closer to the Caribbean or a bit more rum line. Could you talk us through that strategy and what you guys are thinking?
Yeah, so far there is two different kind of files for the weather forecast. For the weather forecast, we've got a GFS model and a CEP1. And they don't agree. They don't agree yet on the weather we'll get for the North Atlantic, and people on boats are still hesitating, I think. So there is maybe people that want to stay in the middle to be able to choose a bit later exactly the tracks they want to do. And for us, I think it's quite clear. But we'll see in a few days if the different forecasts will agree or not. For us, we want to stay in the sun and go and have a look at the beautiful islands of Caribbean.
West is best. Okay, I was going to say, could you let us in on your answer, but there it is. Well, thank you so much, Kevin. Enjoy the beautiful champagne sailing, and great to catch up with you guys.
Well, for sure. We're doing. It's a great day of sailing. Beautiful weather, quite hot, some wind, a bit too wet, but it's okay. It's just perfect.
Beautiful sailing. Of course, they're all enjoying it. But let's explain a bit more what's coming up. The fleet will stay in the trade winds for a while, but a big low-pressure system will be moving off the coast of the U.S., and the fleet's track now is dependent on where they want to go for it. One model has them going further east and using the storm. Another model tracks further west towards the Caribbean, assuming the low has moved on by the time they get to the U.S. coast. Dongfeng has picked the west. Will the rest stay with them? We'll let you know more tomorrow on the next Inside Track.